I have been debating Earth's rotation on YouTube recently, and it's making me think of something in a different way than I have before. There's another way to understand the physics in that place that they call space. It's not the same physics as it is on Earth, and I can explain by simply telling you that it can't be the same as the physics on Earth because everything is moving. The whole sky is moving. If you put something in the sky, you have to get moving. Then you put it in there and it continues to move perpetually because the sky is moving. We can look at a rocket launch going to the space station in order to better explain this. Currently, the astronauts at NASA are primarily flying on the Falcon 9 rocket in a Dragon capsule to get to the space station. The Falcon 9 is the rocket that brings the Dragon into orbit, and then it's the one that comes back and is reusable. And they landed on a drone ship or at a pad back where it launched. Each launch burns 29,600 gallons of fuel. The cost per launch for the Falcon 9 rocket is $62 million. And with the Crew Dragon, a cost per seat of $55 million per astronaut. At full power, the 9 Merlin engines consume 3,200 pounds of fuel and liquid oxygen per second and generate almost 850,000 pounds of thrust. If the appearance of the stars going in a circle is due to Earth's rotation, why is all this fuel needed and high velocity needed in order to go to the space station or to go into orbit? Well, obviously, the space station is traveling over the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour. So a rocket, say with astronauts on it, like the Falcon 9, needs to catch up to the space station. So it also needs to go from 0 miles per hour on the ground all the way up to a velocity matching that of the space station in order to dock with the station. So they need to catch up to it, and clearly the velocity needs to be reached, and it takes a lot of thrust, which takes a lot of fuel. So it takes a lot of fuel to get into orbit. So there's energy being used to go from 0 miles an hour into space, which is moving at a high velocity, any orbit. But once in orbit, almost no fuel is needed, and the conservation of momentum applies with almost no drag, so it keeps going close to the same velocity without burning any fuel. So if we were going to do any math here, we would see that the Dragon capsule and the astronauts and the space station and anything that goes into orbit from Earth started from 0 miles per hour. And once all that fuel is burned, it's clearly in another place that is constantly turning or moving and always stays there unless it's deorbited, unless it slows down. The Earth doesn't rotate. The sky rotates. Rockets start at 0 miles an hour and go into orbit, which is 17,500 miles an hour or faster. Anything in the sky, in space, is moving that fast. Everything. The whole sky is moving that fast. Enoch called it the path of the angels. NASA calls it low Earth orbit. Same thing. The stars turn, the sky turns. That's what we observe. We observe a stationary Earth beneath our feet, and I don't see why it's hard for people to acknowledge this. Anything that has ever gone from space into Earth's atmosphere is exposed to extreme heat and pressure because of the speed that it's going. Everything in the sky is turning, very much like the sun and the moon. They're just floating there above the Earth. What holds them up? Well, they're turning with the rest of the sky, which is not a place where gravity exists. There's gravity if something goes straight up, but not if something goes sideways at about Mach 25, parallel to the Earth's surface. And this is because in order for something to break through into the firmament, it has to catch up to the firmament and the things in it. So when something re-enters or deorbits, it's always moving, just as the whole sky is moving. The people I've been debating with about this who think the Earth rotates, tell me that I need to test it and I need to do the math, because otherwise I'm not right and the Earth is rotating. Well, look at it this way. We live on the ground, we build the rocket on the ground, which is not moving, and then we launch the rocket, which makes the rocket start moving, and then it goes up into the sky and stays there, which is moving, and it will always be moving. So the fuel is part of that math to go from 0 miles an hour to that high orbital velocity. There's fuel being used. That's how I test it. I test it with my camera. The sky is turning. You can see it by looking up at the sky. Our senses are not useless, and every human being observes a stationary Earth with a turning sky above them.